The first couple that we're going to talk to, oh my gosh, we love these guys. They are amazing. We have Austin and Dallin, newly married. And so we're really excited to introduce you guys to them as we start off the podcast. So now we would like to welcome to the podcast, Austin and Dallin. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing awesome. We're happy to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here. We just love this. We just love talking to people and getting to get to know them better and to hear their stories. So why don't you guys just introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, and then we'll kind of start talking.
Sure. I am Austin. I am 28 years old, almost 27. And I realized that I was a little different probably around 10 or 11. Grew up and born in the church. Grew up in the church my whole entire life. Came out probably around 13, 14 to close friends, and then really came out to everyone right after my mission, probably 19 years old.
So that was after your mission?
After my mission, yep.
So you went early, you went right at 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic.
Where did you serve?
I served in Scottsdale, Arizona, Spanish speaking.
Oh.
And it was a beautiful experience. It was exactly what I needed.
Oh, that's great.
My dad always says the $1 million experience you'd never pay a dime for. So.
That's it. I had a son who served in the Tempe, Arizona mission, and he just loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, and I loved it too, because he was one day away by Amazon Prime. You know, he was close. You hear the horror stories of the kids, right? The other across the country, and the parents are like, I'm like, nope, Amazon Prime. Here you go.
That's awesome.
That's wonderful. And what about you, Dallin?
I'm Dallin. I don't know. What about me?
I'm who I am. Yeah, no, I get that. How did you guys meet? How about that question? That's always a good one.
That's a fun one for us.
Okay. Yeah.
Our dads were best friends in high school, and so
oh my gosh,
our families kind of grew up together. I have to find a picture. We do have some fun pictures of like going to Disneyland together.
So you've been friends since you were like teenagers. If your family is kind of connected,
even littler, like we knew each other.
Yeah.
When we were like toddlers and super young. Yeah. So our families like grew up together.
They'd always joke about my sister and him.
So I bet you do have those pictures hanging out. Oh, that's
they were close. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great story. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Did you serve a mission, Dallin?
I did serve a mission. I was a service missionary at the St. George, mostly at the Family Search Center, but also like the DI and the temple and some other things.
Oh, that's very cool. That's excellent.
Fantastic.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
And you two are recently married, correct?
We are.
We're recently married. Congratulations. They're like, yeah.
So in the last month, we're talking, right?
It was, February.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. Yeah. That is incredible.
Super excited. We're still Twitter pated and stuff, but we've been together 5 years. We're coming into our 6th year. And so we've been dating for that time and then recently got married. But we both grew up in the church, and we're kind of back and forth in our church activity. When we first started dating, we were really active. We moved in together probably a year-ish after we started dating, about a year. And the first bishop we had, he was awesome. He gave us callings. We were ministering brothers. We had ministering families. We were welcomed basically into full fellowship, but we had been asked not to take the sacrament. But otherwise, we were treated as full members. I was the ward organist, and we had a really good experience. Whenever I move into a new ward, even before Dallin and I were dating, I would always go in to the bishop and kind of give him the rundown, the talk, like, hey, this is who I am. This is where I'm at. I know that puts you as a bishop in a difficult spot, but I want you to know I'm here to worship and here to be a part of the ward. And ultimately, you have the keys to the ward. So wherever you see us fitting in, we're here to be here.
And I'm
so
sure as soon as they heard I'm also an organist, they're like, "Oh yes, please."
I did, yeah.
We all know. Yeah.
I think I've been the ward organist in every ward I've been in after my mission. So
Isn't
yeah,
that
it's fun calling. But
How many different wards have you been in, and have you seen a consistency in the way that it's that you're treated, or has it been all over the board?
it's kind of been all over the board. The common phrase I would say is the bishop roulette.
Yes, we've
And
heard that a lot.
even in the same ward, when bishops change, things change drastically.
Wow.
So this ward that we had been in for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
The first bishop, we only had him for a short time. And then after that, the next bishop we had was very different in the way that he handled things. So when he became bishop, he called us in, released us from our callings, and asked us not to pray in public, not to speak in church, not to bear our testimonies, not to talk during class, kind of all but disfellowshipped us without the process.
And this was prior to you being married, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Have you seen a change since you've been married? We've seen that's often the thing that keys further punishment, if you want to call it that, or some sort of discipline is started once that happens. So
I believe that God has kind of blessed us in how our life has played out. We were living in this wonderful home in this ward, and we were renting at the time, and we had been told that, hey, we're trying to sell our house, so you're going to leave sometime between January and June. And it just so happened that we left a month before we got married. And so we're no longer in the ward. And I think that was a little grace to kind of avoid that situation. And so since then, our bishop hasn't reached out to us. He never really reached out to us in the first place. No. Like, we never really saw him anyways. He would call me in every once in a while and say, like, hey, Austin, we want you to have your temple recommend. And I'm like, Bishop, we've talked about this. I'm in a relationship, and I've prayed, and this is where I know I'm supposed to be. And right now the church doesn't really have a space for people who are in a gay relationship to have a temple recommend. And so that's not going to change until something shifts at the church.
Did they give you any kind of a warning or an edict if you proceed with getting married, this is what will happen? Or was it known all along, or what
the last conversation that I had with the bishop in the ward that we were in was kind of a precursor to that, without saying anything explicitly. I don't think he liked having that conversation a lot. I don't think he liked talking about it. We were really embraced by the rest of our ward. We had really strong friends and families in the ward that we were very close to and who loved us and embraced us. But the bishop, bless his heart, he was doing the best he could with what he knew how. But he was just a farm boy from Idaho, and I think his background kind of played into how he handled us. But the last conversation we had, he said, listen, if you don't shift your path to trying to get your temple recommend back, then we might have to explore church discipline. That was the last conversation. Then we moved, and so I think we're going to figure out the next ward we go into what it looks like.
Did you feel he was making that decision on his own, or do you feel that he was was anything read out of a church handbook, or did he ever say, this is the church's policy on this, or how did you feel the decisions were being made?
I don't know. That's a good question. It definitely felt, just because of the personal revelation that we've had, and knowing that this relationship has been guided every step of the way by God. It didn't feel like he was asking for revelation. This is totally my personal feeling. It kind of just felt like he was just doing what he thought he was supposed to do.
Rebecca, you're muted right now.
Sorry. I know my mic was kind of to the side and then it was here. I hope I can be heard on this thing. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say that we've seen this before in just the idea that they're kind of left without maybe guidance and oversight from the top, which is why you see these differences in stories that we're covering. And of course, that leaves couples going, I don't know what's going to happen. If you had a clear idea, then you could make decisions and, like you say, personal revelation on that. But you don't know, like you said, right now, when you start going to your new, you don't know what's going to happen in your new ward, you know who your bishop will be, how he'll act. So that's kind of just so nebulous,
Yeah, it is. It is a little uneasy, just knowing, I mean, with the high profile cases of other gay couples who are married and in the church, and watching kind of what's happening there. It's just, I don't know, there's always been this whiplash, this kind of back and forth, not only from church headquarters, but depending on the wards and the stakes that you're in. The bishop or the stake president, right when I came home from my mission after I came out, the stake president called me in my home ward and read me Doctrine and Covenants, I think 121 or 122, where it talks about how to achieve eternal salvation, and it talks about the true order of marriage and polygamy, and he read that and said, if you get married in the temple to a woman, then you can achieve celestial glory, but if you stay single and celibate, you can still be in the celestial kingdom, but you'll just be a servant angel to those who are more righteous. And I was like,
2 options.
That's a great scripture to read me. Thank you so much.
And neither of those options are an option. I'm sorry. That is not an option when it's your life and you love someone. So how are your families? I'm guessing they're very excited for you guys. And are they all still in the church? And they're just like, these are our kids and this is what happened. Tell us about your families a little bit.
My family's great. I didn't really know what to expect when I came out. I was really depressed and sleeping in the attic in my parents. And, so it came just to a point where I needed to I needed to come out. So I left my journal under my mom's pillow, and she didn't realize it was there until 6 a.m. when she rolled over. And so I was up here thinking oh no, they hate me.
She's not going to talk to you, right? Because she's read it. She said, oh my goodness.
And I don't know. I somehow did end up getting sleep that night, but she came up and gave me a hug, and my dad came up and gave me a hug, and they're just love you. And it's they've been on a really big journey of they'll defend me in church. And
that's what I was trying to find out, because it's so different. I believe when Landon and I were younger in the 80s, parents at that point just kicked their kids out or did not support. And I think this is what the church may not see now. The parents are there. The parents are choosing the kids, because how can you not, So I love that. That's beautiful. And they will talk to their, they'll talk to their ward members and they're proud of you. I mean, I've seen that. I have a friend who's as faithful Mormon as can be, and her son just got married. She was very slow to tell all of us in the friend group a little bit. But then as soon as, she got more comfortable, she could not be prouder now. And she's displaying pictures and, which I know that was a step for her. You know what I mean? But when you love your kids and your kids are happy, that's the thing. Who doesn't want to see their child happy, right? And you guys look incredibly happy. So I'm sure that your parents, what about your family, Austin?
My family has had more of a struggle. Growing up, both of my parents were just very anti-gay, very homophobic. My dad, his older brother, is gay, and my mom has a younger brother and an uncle who's gay. And those family members were never allowed over at the house while we were growing up. They didn't get talked about. Mm-hmm. My grandpa completely kicked out my uncle when he came out. of the house and of the family. He was dead to them. And I think my dad, seeing how that affected his family and how much pain and anguish it caused for everyone, he was able to shift after I came out. He went on this same journey of like super anti, super homophobic, said horrendous things, to kind of discovering like, I love you for who you are, but you should still be straight. To like, I love you and I'm uncomfortable with this, but I want you to be happy. To fully embracing me, supporting me, loving Dallin as his own son, and just holding a beautiful space of love for us. And my dad and I are best friends. My mom has struggled. So my dad left the church for a myriad of reasons, but one of them being how the church treats his son. And so he's stepped away from the church, but my mom has just kind of doubled down and dug her heels in, and she really struggles. Her and I, our relationship isn't what I want it to be. We're not close. She doesn't respect or trust me or Dallin or our relationship. She almost didn't come to our wedding, but she did, and she just kind of grudged around, didn't want to participate in anything, and it was really hard. It was really tragic, and she does all of this because of her belief, her blind faith in this idea from 2 decades ago. And it's just really sad to watch her get sucked into that, because I can see the pain and the cognitive dissonance happening, because I know she loves me. She just doesn't know how to show or embrace that because of the things that she believes. And that's really hard to see.
No, and that's the point, that she does love you. And I think parents in that scenario, they're like, I love them so much that I believe I won't be with them again. You know what I mean? It's coming from this place of just fear and how much they love you. And it's almost like a tough love, kind of like, if I can only get them to, it really is. It's that fear of the next life, So I look at that way too, because of course, I've stepped away and I have kids that are in, and it's a similar thing where, you're not going to go to their wedding. You're not going to do that, and there's a distance. I totally understand that, but you have to tell yourself it's from a place of, I love you so much that I'm kind of devastated from my paradigm that we won't be together. Of course, my paradigm, and yours probably too, is we're all going to be fine. We'll all be together. It's gonna, and everyone arrives at that. But this is just a beautiful story, though. You guys are just awesome. I think it's just wonderful. So you have not yet interacted in your new ward at all. You're just kind of figuring out what's going to happen and trying to see. And I get that, kind of taking a step and trying to figure it out. So
we're gearing up to buy a house, and I don't know. I trust that we're going to be exactly where we're supposed to be, because I've seen that every step of the way so far. The amount of hearts that Dallin and I have been able to influence and to be a part of God's plan and a tool in God's hand to help hearts soften and change has been a huge blessing to be a part of. To watch people in our ward who literally were so homophobic that if a food server handed them food and they perceived that they were gay, he would throw it away and not want anything to do with it, to embrace us and invite us into his home, and hearts changing like that we've been part of.
No, you guys are pioneers. You're absolutely No, you are. And that's what it takes. You don't understand someone until you're in close proximity. And then you're like, I love this person. And then you start looking around and going, who's hurting this person? I don't want anyone to hurt this person. I want to make a difference. You know what I mean? It's slowly changing like that. That's why I say you guys are pioneers, just by being who you are, and being so dang lovable, right? I can tell. It exudes through the camera. You guys are just so cute.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions, Landon?
I just appreciate you guys coming on. It takes a lot of courage to do that. But like you said, it's the personal relationships that's going to make these policies change. And so congratulations on what you're doing and hanging in there tough and being an example. It's obvious you guys are great individuals who are going to bring a lot to the church if they'll only accept you to do that. So.
I genuinely believe it will happen. I also genuinely believe that it will come from interactions like this. I believe that it will come the same way that other revelations have come through the church, through someone getting ready to ask the question, what really is the purpose of the LGBTQ brothers and sisters and children in the wards? Where do we actually fit? And as soon as someone is ready to ask that question and shift policy is when we'll see it. And I have faith and truly believe that God is preparing that way, and that it'll happen when it's time.
Yep. No, we do too. We absolutely do. And I would predict sooner than people think. I mean, I think a lot of people are saying, 20 years from now. I don't think so. I think much sooner than we think, just because of people like you. And I would say if anybody from their new ward is watching, these guys are awesome, and they're going to be incredible contributors, and you're going to love them. From our interaction that we've just had on the phone and here, you guys are amazing, and you're going to be an asset to any ward, and you're going to be able to teach them a lot just by your relationship. And so it's beautiful.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. So excellent.
I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the time that you're taking out of your days to help spread the message of love and unity. And the church needs more people like you. We appreciate it.
We are trying hard. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Austin and Dallin. We will let you get on with your day. All right. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you.
Have a good day. Enjoy conference.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Oh, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. We loved getting to know them. Oh my gosh. They were just so cute and so fun in our interactions together. Didn't you love that, Landon?
Oh, yeah. Austin was very impressive to me with his desire to make change and his optimism. And both of them, both Austin and Dallin, had a great aura about them, that they just wanted to see change and live their life and participate and help. I thought they were great.
No, I totally agree. And I really wish them luck. As they mentioned, they had, moved, and they were trying to find a church community. I really hope they can connect, and that they can be able to worship and to serve, in every way possible. Because you can see they're so enthusiastic, and they have so many talents, and they just want to be in a church community. They want to find a church home, and they want to be able to participate. So we wish them all the luck in that. We really hope that happens for them. So